Am I the a-hole for saying no my girlfriend's tradition? Throwaway account. I am 30, lost my younger brother when I was 22. He had cancer and fought very hard. Ever since, I've been donating blood on the anniversary of his death every year. I take the day off from work, visit his grave, donate blood, and then come home, relax, and watch his favorite movie. I know it's a simple, personal tradition, but it means a lot to me. My girlfriend of 9 months, Anna F., 31, asked if I could meet her and her mom. I have met her many times before, and it wasn't the meet the parents for the first time situation for lunch yesterday. I told her no and explained again about what I do on my brother's death anniversary. She got upset and said, "Well, it's my tradition to have lunch with my mom every time she's in town, and she really wanted to see you. You can do your stupid blood donation tradition any day." I explained to her that it's not just about the blood donation. Later in the evening, while I was resting and watching my brother's favorite movie, she texted me again, asking me to join them. I reiterated that I really didn't want to and would hang out with her mom next time. She replied that I had embarrassed her in front of her mom with my selfishness and laziness. Since then, she's been distant. Do I owe her an apology? Am I the a-hole? Update. I texted her that we needed to talk. She never replied. Just blocked me from everywhere: social media, WhatsApp. Her best friend, who was following me on Instagram, blocked me too. I'm not sad. I wanted to end it anyways. Thank you for your support, everyone. I really appreciate your kind comments. Some users suggested that my brother/remembrance tradition saved me from getting serious with her and lifetime of misery, and it made me smile. Thank you again. Stupid blood donation tradition. After that comment, I hope she's soon your ex-GF. That is unbelievably upsetting. You haven't asked her to join you, just to leave you in peace to honor your brother. Not the a-hole, and I'm sorry for your loss. She owes you an apology for being disrespectful of your loss and how you honor your brother. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, she doesn't respect your tradition, which is one day a year. Her mom will probably come to town more than one time in the year. Your girlfriend is selfish and entitled. Opie replies, yes. She is retired and lives 3 hours away. She comes here often. Next story. Am I the a-hole for treating my coworker differently after she accused me of SA when I saved her life? I'm a quiet guy and genuinely friendly. I treats all my coworkers as friends. About 2 months ago, during a work lunch, one of my coworkers started choking, so I did the Heimlich thing to help her. After she's in the clear, the others cheered. I asked if she all right. She just nodded and headed to the bathroom without a word, so I didn't think much about that. Until 2 days later, I got called into HR for my inappropriate behavior. I was confused and asked for more details. That's when they told me that my coworker had filed a complaint stating that she felt my touches when I was helping her was inappropriate. My body was too close and she felt my private touching her. I gave my statement and they put me on ice. I was still working with potential to be removed while they investigate further. After a week, I was in the clear. I returned to working normally without fear, but I started distancing myself from the coworker. She tried to apologize, which I accepted, and tried to explain that she has to tell me that she has trauma, but I still take precautions and only treat her as just colleague. I'm no longer talk to her unless needed to, always keeping distance, no longer inviting her out unless there are others. She could feel my hesitation toward her and how no longer treat her the same as others. She tried to say that I'm being ridiculous and petty, but I told her that I'm just looking after myself. So am I the a-hole? Peas. Sorry about my English if there are errors, it's my third language. Edit. Wow, this blew up. I'm not very active here, but I have read several comments and DMs. Sorry, I can't read all. Thanks for everyone's support. I won't make updates, but I have some clarifications. I'm not from or at any English-speaking countries. Me and the coworker did have a talk with our colleagues nearby, and she agreed to just limit it to necessary contacts that related to works. I won't sue her cause everything is resolved, and to be honest, it would just be bring more problems while wasting money. I also received several DMs about people with similar experiences as me, which made me sad and relieved that I'm not the only one. And I also saw comments about how I'm not considering and don't understand her trauma, which is fair. If you're harassed for real, then you should protect yourself. But I just hoped she came to me about her uncomfortableness since we've known each other for a couple years. That's it again. Thank you. You have to avoid her now. That's the answer. You weren't fired this time, but she has the power to get you fired, and you do not sacrifice yourself in this situation. That will not solve anything and only cause you harm. So she falsely accused you of sexual assault when you saved her life in front of a crowd using a widely known medical technique. I would hope your company is looking for a way to let her go because this lunatic is a massive liability to have around. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling a plus-size woman that I love being skinny? I dread going to my childhood friend's birthday party every year. We moved apart a decade ago, and even though I'll always care deeply about her, we are very different people now, and her friend group reflects this. She has one friend, let's call her Amanda, who, without fail, has to comment on my weight every single time she sees me. You're so skinny. Do you even eat? Does your BF care that you don't have curves? Your legs are like sticks. For the record, I eat plenty. I just have a fast metabolism which keeps me super thin. I keep a strong face when Amanda says these things to me. But truthfully, she's touching on my worst insecurities, and it makes me dread going to these parties every year. I was considering not going this year, until I talked to my mom about it. My mom had what I thought was a great idea on how to deal with Amanda. She suggested I pretend she's giving me a compliment. My mom told me, if Amanda says, "You're so skinny," just smile and say, "Thanks. I love being skinny." And if she looks disappointed at your response, you'll have proven she was trying to insult you. I thought this was great advice. However, something I had failed to mention to my mom was that Amanda was overweight. I didn't realize this meant I was entering potential a-hole territory. Anyway, the dreaded birthday party day comes. And of course, no surprise, Amanda immediately looks at my arms and comments how tiny they are. I ignored this comment. Then later on in the day, we were standing in a group together and she was eyeing me up and down. She chuckled to herself and says, "God, you're so skinny." And I thought, okay, here it is. Here is my moment. I turned to her, smiled, and said, "Thanks. I love being skinny." And then, and I am completely serious here, she slaps me in the face. I was in complete shock, just staring back at her, mouth hanging open with my hand on my cheek. Everyone was silent. She suddenly bursts into tears and runs out of the room. Two of her friends chase her. Only one other girl and my childhood friend asked if I was okay, but everyone else was just shooting me dirty looks. I promptly left the party, which sucked cause I had a 2-hour commute and had planned to sleep over. The next day, I was texting with my childhood friend about it. She basically thinks that even though Amanda shouldn't have slapped me, that I was insensitive for saying I love being skinny to a plus-size person. I argued that Amanda has been consistently insensitive to me every party, and I didn't comment on her body, only my own. She told me that it's different because being skinny is socially acceptable and that Amanda wouldn't usually do something like this, but I triggered her with my insult. My mom thinks I am in the right, but this was all her idea, so of course she does LOL. So am I the a-hole for what I said to Amanda? Not the a-hole, I love your mom. You are not the a-hole. Why is it not okay for someone to comment on how overweight they are, but the same doesn't go for being thin? Imagine if you would have said, "Oh my, you are so fat" to Amanda every time you saw her. Screw her, go and have yourself a huge piece of cake and laugh about how you won't gain a pound. Obi replies, "LOL, my mom always says I'm lucky I can eat what I want. But I still feel super insecure because I definitely have that too skinny look. I'm hoping my metabolism will slow over time." Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I have every right to defend my home after someone started kicking my door in? I 27M and my girlfriend 26F have been together for 2 years. I'm a black man raised in the inner city. She's a white girl from the suburbs. We grew up different, and normally that's okay, but last week someone tried to break into my house and it started causing problems. I'm taking care of my mother now that she's getting up in age. She just had surgery on her legs and cannot walk. I need to stress this. She physically can't support herself, so I'm doing everything for her. Her bedroom is in the back of the house, right next to the back door that leads to the porch. At 2 a.m. last Wednesday, my mom calls me scared, saying someone's trying to break into the house and she can hear them banging on the back door. My girlfriend was staying with me in my bedroom when I got the call. I jumped up, grabbed my gun, and ran to the back and started yelling for whoever was there to get away because they were still banging on the door when I got there. Things got quiet, so I checked the camera on the porch and I saw them standing there. It was 3 people and one of them said, "Keep going. It doesn't matter." So I used the speaker on my camera to say I have a weapon, it's loaded, and if you kick that door one more time I will shoot. My girlfriend is behind me at that point screaming not to shoot them and it isn't worth it. The 3 people on the porch don't move, so I put my phone down, CK my weapon, and say I'm going to count to 3. And if you aren't gone by the time I get to 3, I'm firing. As soon as I counted 1, they ran away. And my girlfriend was screaming at me that there's never a reason to threaten to shoot someone. Ever. I told her we are not having this conversation right now and we need to call the police. Yes, I should have done earlier, but I was too worried about my mother to think about it. The police get called, they come out and see shoe prints on my fence and on the back door from where they were kicking and start patrolling the area, but don't find them. When the police leave, my girlfriend starts yelling at me and saying she can't believe I'd be willing to shoot someone because they kicked my door. I said it isn't about the house, it's the fact that my mother is laying in bed helpless just a few feet from that door and they could have done anything. Stole things, killed her, raped her, a combination. I have no idea and I wasn't taking any chances. She says there is never a reason to hurt or kill someone, ever. Because violence isn't the answer. It just makes you like the person you're hurting. I told her the only reason she thinks violence isn't the answer is because she's never had someone try to physically harm her before. And I'm not going to apologize for what I did because I had every right to defend myself, my home, my mother, and her. She's been angry at me ever since and will barely even speak to me. I'm trying to consider her perspective, I really am, but I'm not going to give up my ability to defend myself because she doesn't believe violence will ever be necessary. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Tell GF that if she cannot handle you defending your mother, then she is not the woman for you. Oh hell no. It's a concern that your girlfriend was more worried about some a-hole robbers than you protecting the home, your mother, and her. What if they did break in and have weapons of their own? Logically, you did what anyone would do with common sense. Her reaction makes no sense. So she wants them to possibly break in and harm all of you instead of defending yourselves? Where is the logic in that? It's not like you unnecessarily pulled a gun on someone casually knocking on your door at a reasonable hour of the day. These intruders were trying to frighten you in the middle of the night for a reason. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing. Your girlfriend is way too naive. What did she think was going to happen if they got in? I would really ask her that. They knew people were inside and were going to keep trying to get in. They would have hurt someone if you didn't tell them you would defend yourself. Everyone in your house would have been on the news, most likely with police asking for information that would lead to arrests. I would seriously have a talk with your girlfriend. Next story. Am I the a-hole for punching my stepdad after he just grabbed my butt? So I 15M have divorced parents because my mom cheated on my dad when I was around 10 with the man who is now my stepdad, which obviously already made me resent him. I have 2 step-siblings and 1 half-brother because of it too, who I'm close with. So yesterday I took a shower since it was a hot day and I came back from MMA practice. And my stepdad just grabbed my butt. Not a brush, not some slip up, straight up grabbed and squeezed my butt. So I punched him, which resulted in him breaking his nose. I never wanted that. It was just a response to someone grabbing my damn butt. My mom knows why and is mad at me and tells me I should lighten up since we're both men and that's normal, you know? That's not. Even my siblings are on my side and called him disgusting and refused to visit him in the ER. I admit, punching him was wrong, but it was just a reflex since it's not the first time he was inappropriate. If I could, I wouldn't, even if he deserved it. So am I the a-hole for breaking his nose on accident in response to him grabbing my butt? Edit. Thanks already for all the advice and kind words. I haven't thought about a police report to be honest, but I'm gonna make one as soon as possible and call maybe a friend to stay with for a few days. Flawless execution. No notes. 10 by 10. Not the a-hole. Maybe if someone had punched him earlier, he would have figured out that normal people keep their hands to themselves. If he tries it again, please report it after you repeat your previous response. If he tries a second time, he wants to groom you and he isn't being subtle. Perfect response in my opinion. Your mom is just as disgusting enabling that type of behavior. No, it is definitely not normal. I'd have a punch-out with my own partner if he ever did that to our children. Next story. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my husband's coworker for embarrassing me and my husband? A few months ago, after many years of trying to conceive, my husband 32M and I 33F had a gorgeous, healthy baby boy. My husband and I are Black, which is pertinent to this story. We were over the moon, and family, friends, and coworkers had also been excited for us. Right after I delivered, my husband emailed a birth announcement with a photo of our son to everyone in his office. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and my husband came home fuming after his first day back at work. One of his coworkers informed him that another guy in the office, a new young employee my husband barely knew, had been telling everyone willing to listen that my husband couldn't be our son's father because that baby is too light to be his and its hair is too long and straight. That's a white man's baby, or an Asian's. This guy proceeded to tell everyone what a sucker my husband was and that his excitement over finally becoming a dad was blinding him to the reality that he'd been cheated on and his wife impregnated by another man. Side note for anyone who's still unaware in 2025. Black babies in general are fairly pale as newborns, and their skin will darken over the first few weeks. Hair changes to a curlier pattern are usually gradual as well. Our son was no exception, and is now my hub's mini-me. My husband said he had immediately confronted and questioned the guy, who completely denied saying anything inappropriate and claimed he only said, as a joke, the baby was too cute to be my husband's. But others in the office confirmed the first coworker's account. Not only that, the guy had tried to parlay his superior perception skills into some weird form of workplace clout. Fortunately, the guy got moved to a different shift that same week, so my husband didn't have to see him again. That is, until a company event this past weekend. Families were invited, and we took our son. And who should come and insert himself into our group as we were chatting with the boss but brown-noser McMouth. He interrupted our conversation and introduced himself to the boss, shaking his hand. When I realized who he was, my anger came flooding back, and I said, I don't believe we've met. But aren't you the guy who went around telling everyone in the office I must have cheated on my husband with a white or Asian man and this couldn't be his son? The guy went red and silent. Boss said to him, see me in my office first thing Monday, and walked away. I think someone's fired. My husband said I went too far because it was already over and done with. I said it wasn't done for me until I'd had my say, and I was the one being defamed, not him. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You were slandered in a way that could have negatively impacted your marriage. And you had no real recourse, aside from a lawsuit, to publicly defend yourself against the accusation made against you. An opportunity presented itself in this man's continued pompousness. You took it. You made it clear with your baby now looking just like your husband that one. He was obviously wrong, and two, that you were hurt by the accusation. Behavior has consequences. You prevented further harassment of other people at the office. Unlikely the dude only targeted you and your hubby. Well done. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel our posts.